head into the second of the one-shot qualifyings, which will take us as it's raining in this one. So let's have a quick old look and see what the drivers are on. It's intermediates this time round. So a little bit different conditions, and it's something that can happen here in Belgium where the weather can very easily change because of it being in the Ardennes forest. And that producing its own small microclimates, meaning that it could be more wet in one part of the track than it can be in another. So we'll have to see how the drivers approach these new conditions. It was dry conditions for the first run, however it's not going to be for this one, as we get ready for the second of the two one-shot qualifyings as we get underway here for that particular run. They get the one run, of course, so we'll go on board with Jesper, if I can find him. Wish I could see him. Yeah, we are. There, that's exactly. That's not the driver I was looking for. There we are. So we'll take you through a lap. As I say, we've been through La Source as we now head up and through 3, 4, and 5, Radion and Eau Rouge. Andres has retired, obviously, had an incident with that. Got to be careful of Eau Rouge Radion complex as they're heading down the Camel Straight here and in towards turns 7, 8, and 9. The Lake Hom section and in towards Bruxelles 10, and next complex of Bruxelles 10 and 11. Careful not to run too wide here, as you can invalidate very easily on the outside of that curb and on the inside of this next one. Into No Name, exit of 7, exit of 11, and into towards turn 12, Puon, and into turns 13 and 14, 14 and 15, campus section, and Stavolo, the final section, which will make up this particular sequence of corners as they head into the final sector. A few drivers retiring, maybe making a few mistakes or invalidating on their laps. And in towards turn 16 and the exit of turn 16 and in towards Blanchimont is the kink at turn number 17 and into turn 18. And then we head down towards the run for the bus stop chicane round turns 19 and 20. Crucial to get a good exit out of here towards the final corner, as it can make or break your lap here, especially in these conditions. And here we go through the final corner. It's going to be Wombat's going to take pole position with Jesper just behind him by 0.2 of a second. And there is a lap on board of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, on board with Jesper, who will start from P2 on the grid. Not the first time, I believe. I think he's been on pole position for pretty much all the races this season, but he, for the first time, is not on the top step. Wombat, as I say, takes that honour 2.5 tenths quicker than his fellow teammate in the Visa Cash app. The two, once again, it's the all Norwegian contingent on the front row, and then followed up by the first of the Portuguese drivers in the Aston Martin, and Castasso alongside him, the Greek in the only McLaren. It is the other Portuguese driver there, and then it is Jeremy and Tiger, with the ones who got laps on the board, and you can see Lockie, Wolfie, Christians, Paulson, Andreas and Hazard were unable to get lap times on the board in the end. Even in bulk, hopefully you're doing well. Obviously we know why you're not about tonight, but that is obviously fair enough to yourself. Hopefully, as I say, you're still doing well anyway. But as I say, we are now indeed looking forward to the race. 22 laps ahead of the drivers here in Spa for the second of the two races. Nice sort of quick, snappy format here today. Something I enjoy seeing. As I say, I'm used to seeing a lot of racing and doing commentary on 100% race distances, so it is very much a case in point of I'm used to seeing long distances rather than something sort of short and to the point as such. It's always just an interesting thing about that. But this brings up obviously a completely different argument's sake anyway. Brings up a completely different story for when it comes to that. Not too bad, Tiger. Hopefully you're not too bad yourself. Hopefully, as I say, you're looking forward to the race. Hopefully with a slightly better result than in the sprint for yourself. Bit of an unfortunate spin as you can. Well, it's very easy to do on that final corner actually. Is to put the power down too early and lose the rear as such. As I say, hopefully everyone in the chat is doing well tonight and enjoying the racing. As such, as I say, this is where you'll find all the Tier 2 action from PGS this season. So hopefully, as I say, the drivers can provide an amazing show like we saw from the pre-season and from the two pre-season previous to this start and the two pre-season races. As there we go, we are underway once again, so we'll see what the drivers have indeed opted to start on. There we are. It is the front three have all gone for the mediums. Castasser's trying to be a little bit more punchy, has opted for the softs. Jebby is on the mediums. Jeremy's gone in the complete opposite direction of everyone else. He's gone onto the hards. He's going to go run a little bit longer. Tiger and Lockie 7th and 8th are on the softs. The two kick servers. Then it's the same story for Wolfie, Carlson, Andreas, and Hazard. And if there's anything to go by from the sprint, if Hazard can keep himself out of trouble, I think he may have a great chance of getting a good result here, because I think he had the pace for the podium if he didn't have that moment with the rear contact with the rear of Jeremy's car. Jeremy obviously will be looking to make amends as such for that not the best race performance in the sprint, obviously not entirely his own doing, I suppose, due to that reason. But as I say, we are currently watching the drivers head round on this formation lap as they're heading through Bruxelles Complex through No Name. I believe we have another pick pack or something like that. Could be wrong though, from what I know of commentary from other people I've done that with. You can head through that corner, or you can refer to it obviously as either, I suppose. But indeed we are looking, it's a lot more compacted up this time. Everyone, there's a little bit of a gap there between the driver at the moment. Jerry's trying to get a little bit of heat into those hard compound tyres. It's a difficult thing to get on this game in terms of into the tyres and making sure your tyres are up to the most amount of heat that you can be. You can see the one soft strategy on the screen there, softs to mediums or softs to hards, which gives you a great option either way around. I imagine you could maybe do a hard soft strategy if you're doing Jeremy's case, and then I believe maybe you could do a medium soft strategy. If we see safety cars early on, you will probably see a lot of drivers hopping onto the hards, because the hard tyres will do the distance, albeit it'll be a little bit in case of a case of the tyres might be screaming coming in with the Grand Prix, but they will do it. And it's always interesting to see how all this will as I say, shape up. As here we go for 22 laps of racing here in the Ardennes Forest here at Spa-Francorchamps. 22 laps ahead as the drivers form up on the grid. Front row forms up. You can see there Wombat Jesper forming up on that front row. The all Norwegian contingent. Will we see that as a dominant force for the rest of this season? We will have to see. Sasser's missed his box very slightly. We've got then the Aston Martin's a little bit trying to maybe line himself up a little bit to the side, and that's one of the kick servers obviously not always had a little bit of a spin trying to make it into position as such. Hopefully they managed to get themselves in position. There we go. As here we go for racing here in Belgium. 22 laps as the racing is underway here in Belgium, and out go the red lights, and it's a better start there from Jesper this time round. But he has indeed lost the position to Goulet, as Goulet's got the position on him in towards turn number 1. The Portuguese driver trying to go side by side. Castasser trying to make a way through as well. A little bit of movements further back. Tiger's got himself past Wolfie as Lockie's dropped down to P10 from where he started in P8. Jeremy's trying to get up past Japer for P6. Jeremy with a good amount of tyre heat as he goes through up to the Kemmel Straight. Goulet is trying to make his way through. They're double file for the lead of the Grand Prix. Wombat trying to get past as Jesper's side by side with his teammate. Got to be careful not to make any contact. Rule number 1 of that is once again there's a little bit of rearward motion from Jesper. That's maybe not his setup agreeing. That's a great move there from Castasser down in towards Rochelle's complex. And it's move done and dusted, as it's going to be Castasser who's wanting to make that move work out for him and get into the lead of the Grand Prix and see if he can pull away from the drivers behind. Chevy side by side, I think, and towards the pull-on section, decides to back out of it. Tiger's now side by side with the Portuguese driver, side by side towards the next complex. And he's going to make it stick as Tiger's round the outside. If he can pull that off, that's a great move there for the kick server. He does indeed pull move off. And he's in towards P5, and JB has to settle in behind for P6. And Hazard, meanwhile, is up to P7 from where he started at the back of the field on the soft compound tyres. The Williams driver trying to make his way through. Having seen already in one previous how quick Hazard can actually be, I'm expecting to see a lot of progress once again like there was in the sprint as he goes side by side round the outside of the Blanchimont section in turn 18. And looking down the inside of Tiger as they go in towards the final corner, the bus stop chicane, which obviously has seen a lot of changes over the years, but that is to say the most up-to-date section is Castasser once again side by side as they go into La Source, trying to make a move down the inside. He's going to have the better run as he goes out of here, or is he? ERS being used rather from Wombat heading down towards the next complex with DRS now enabled. Castasser looking to make a move stick towards this corner, and Wombat could lose a few positions here. Round the outside, there's the DRS getting enabled. You can see that now as we're going to have a change of position. Gulas is into P2. Great move there from him with the DRS, and Hazard's into P5. Tiger almost still side by side with him, but Tiger has to opt for position at the moment. We're all good, yeah. A little bit of brief crackle on the audio through the stream there. Hopefully it's alright now. We've got someone out wide, I think that's Castasser out wide. That's going to give the lead to Gulias. And his way back through once again. He's made the mistake. And Wombat is still within the range as well. Hazard is looking to make a move there. He's all over the curbs, trying to get past Jesper. Jesper's not been able to quite make the same inroads and impact he had in the sprint. Obviously, big difference maybe in the tyre compounds that could be making the difference here. He is very close to the rear. Jesper's trying to make a move on his fellow teammate, his fellow countryman as well, and towards the bus stop chicane. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? I don't think he's going to be quite there. No, he has to brake a little bit earlier, saving a little bit off his battery. Castasser's almost fell out of range as Jeremy and Jebby go side by side. Jeremy around the outside. Apologies about that, I just had to sneeze. Meanwhile, Castasser still remaining close for the moment. Gulas still leads as they head through lap number 3 at the beginning of La Source once again. As Wolfie's into the pits for a new set of medium compound tyres. And he's had an incident somewhere with someone. I don't know exactly who that potentially was. And Wombat's trying to make a move here in Castasser's not really using the battery as such. Heavy use of the battery there as you can see on board. Wombat's going for 2 here, is he? Down, seems 3 wide there for a brief second. I think Gulias might have been caught in crossfire there. I think that's potentially what has happened there. There's been a little bit of contact. Castasser's out wide as well, so he drops down to P5. And once again, it's status quo at the front between the 2 V-Carb drivers as Wombat leads, but with Jesper in second. I'm not sure what's happened there. I think they tried to go 3 wide. Gulias has been caught on the outside, and I think he's maybe been tagged in the rear and he's spun because of that particular reasoning. Not exactly fully sure, so I didn't fully see what happened to him as Jeremy's around the outside of Jamie in the Buon complex in the middle of sector 2, and he's trying to make his way through on Castasser now as he's on the hard compound tyres and making those work quite well. Castasser, those tyres are probably going to start to go off probably by or around lap 8 of the Grand Prix. All still very close at the moment, apart from Castasser. There's a little bit of break in the train as such, and Tiger is still trying to get himself up to the back of Hazard once again, who's looking at the back of Jesper, trying to get through is Hazard, trying to see if he can perhaps open some room somewhere, to see if he can make a move in towards the detection zone. That's a great exit. Is he going to go for 2? It's 3 wide down the straight towards La Source. It was for a brief second. Hazard's into P2. This is what we were expecting from the sprint. Obviously it didn't quite unfold. Obviously this is causing the soft compound tyres, not helping out massively. But Hazard's into P2. Great run there from him. Wombat's trying to go round the outside, but he is given the Sergio Perez. The Sergio Perez and Ocon treatment from the Force India days. As he goes side by side, little bit of grass cutting there from Hazard as he goes down the inside. Great move there. Jesper tries to close off the gap. There's contact between the 2 V-Carbs. That's not ideal between the 2 of them. That's going to lose them positions. I think they got stuck on each other's side pods. That wasn't ideal there. and that's cost a lot of time there, and now Hazard could maybe pull away here if he's got enough pace. Tiger remains just behind as well, because Stasser's just in this queue as well. He's got himself back within range. Jeremy picks himself up a penalty, but he is carrying good speed through the no-name complex and in towards Pool once again for lap number 4 here in this Grand Prix, making this work on the alternate strategy to everyone else around him, and it gives him the greatest amount of freedom that he can have to actually make something work here, as Jesper meanwhile is still staying on the back at the moment of theirs. Now this battle goes a little bit down to P7 as we've got a yellow flag. I think that is probably Lockie who's at a slight moment in the back of the field there. Wombat still remaining within that 6/10 of a second range, and Jesper is just within that range as well. And Tiger's trying to get himself as close as possible. That's a great move down there. I'm looking at something on Discord. Something that just caught my eye. We've got some other stuff going on elsewhere with some other things that I do work with. But Wombat's still within that range, trying to get himself within the range of making a move with DRS. Less than half a second is the gap. Getting a good exit out of this corner, not a good exit for Hazard, I don't think though. Those soft compound tyres may be already starting to go off. Is he going to defend the inside heavily? No, he's not. That's going to be inside left wide open. There's a little bit of squeezing going on between the two of them, and I think is there going to be another move made? No, there's not enough space. Hazard round the outside. Is there going to be a cutback here from Wombat? No, there's a little bit of rearward motion there from the rear end, which prevents him from being able to make a move stick on that corner, and Hazard remains ahead for now. These three getting away a little bit from Castasso. The gap is about 6/10 of a second. You can see a little bit of a break, if you want to even call that a break as such. As I say, the action is living up, as I say, much like the sprint, it's living up to its name here in Spa-Francorchamps, as Wombat tries to still make his move. As you can see, the red flashing light on the rear of Hazard's car, meaning he is saving ERS at the moment. Must mean he's a little bit lower on charge. Yeah, he's half the charge of what Wombat has at the moment. Jesper's also close as well, trying to make a move, as now this is going to close everyone up once again as we head through towards the Blanchimont complex of 17 and 18. Two kinks at the end of the straight, as Jesper's backing out a little bit. That's going to slow him down just a little, and that's going to allow a chance for Castasso to maybe make a move. Wombat's going to try and go round the outside, as Hazard going to hold the inside. Yes, he is, as Wombat tries to go round the outside. That's going to cost a position here. There's contact between the two of them. There's still contact between the two V-carbs. That's cost them heavily in terms of position. I don't know what's happened there. I think they just got stuck to each other. That's not ideal. That's Jesper down to P6, Wombat down to P4. That was also, I think, Jeremy trying to make a move as Wombat's back into P4, trying to make his way back up. He's got his way back through, and he's going to try and line up the kick-sauber in towards the Eau Rouge Radion complex at the top of the hill, the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. And the V-Carb drivers from 1 and 2 are now 4th and 6th, as Hazard's now got a little bit of a gap to that, as Jesper's now making her way through, as he's going to try and go round the outside. I think there was contact, and I think that's a bit of front wing potentially off of someone's car, and I think that Wombat has misinterpreted where his teammate was, and he's just moved across on him. That is not ideal there. There's Norwegian friendly fire there. The two teammates come together, and that's not the most ideal of situations between the two of them, as Lockie meanwhile he's had to be in the pits as well. He's picked up damage at some point and all of that. We'll have to see if Jesper's actually picked up damage on that wing. Yes, he has, I do believe. I don't see an end plate on that side, so he's missing a bit of wing on that side, and we've seen what happened with Hazard when that did indeed happen. And I wonder if there's maybe some damage to the side of Wombat's car as well, because I do think he's slowed down just a little bit as Tiger's trying to line up a move. 4th place, and Castasso now, it's the two soft runners, and it's a medium runner, and then the Tiger and the soft. All the soft runners, well, most of the soft runners, I think some of them have had to pit. And I think Wombat's trying to go up the inside, and we're seeing a little bit, as I say, Wombat was he's quick, but then he's had moments as Lockie's out of the Grand Prix, and I think that is going to be safety car deployed. Yes, it is. He's out in the section just before Bruxelles in the Locom section. He is out of the Grand Prix, and that is it for his race. No points, as I say. Lockie struggled a little bit in the 2 pre-season races, and that is it once again for him. Everyone is going to be in the pits for a problem with the hard compound tyres. Jeremy stayed out. This is not ideal for his strategy, because now he's got to try and make something else work, because I don't think he's at. Oh, he needs to slow down, otherwise he's going to get disqualified. I think he forgot he was the leader for a brief second. I've done that once before. Jesper's on the softs. That's an interesting strategy call for him. I don't know if that's maybe a mistake there from him, and I don't think they've replaced the front wing either. No, they haven't, so he's probably going to go back into the pits again and get that front wing repaired, because I believe that front wing is not repaired on the back of that particular, the front rather, of that, let's just say the LTV car. I do believe that was not repaired as such. In fact, I can quite clearly see that's not been repaired, so that's a moment that he will definitely want to avoid. And as I say, Hazard now into P2 will be race leader when Jeremy does opt to pit. And Jeremy, these two came to blows in the sprint race, so hopefully there are no further blows between these two, because Jeremy will not be impressed if he ends up being with rear contact again and he sees the name that is behind him that has caused that. Maybe you'll be thinking of the Sebastian Vettel term that was there from 2015, 2015 Russia, where it's like he came in like a torpedo. It was a States, obviously. Well, yep, Jerry's been taking about a 10-second penalty for a collision with Tiger. What's happened there? Let's see. Well, it can't be much, because is there still a full front wing on that Aston Martin? I think there is. I wish I had a better camera angle, game, so I could actually see. Has he got any damage on that car? Oh, he had. I'm not sure if he has a front wing. Oh, he's got damage on that car. Yeah, he has damage. That is an entire side of wing missing. That's not ideal. He's going to have to pit. And I think safety car is going to be in this lap, so that's going to really hurt him in terms of position. Because that much front wing damage, you're definitely going to have to pit, because missing the front wings are the most important thing for the front downforce as such. Obviously, there's no certain but as I say, he's probably going to have to come into the box again. So Carlson Andreas is going to be here, and I think we're going to be out for another lap of safety car. So he has indeed been saved. He's going to have to come into the box. Yes, he is. He's on the hards already, and Jesper's in as well. What's happened to Jesper? He's out coming in because I don't think the front wing damage has been repaired on his car, so he's good. Probably going to the hards now. Get that front wing taken off of auto, put on yes, because even on auto, that won't repair your front wing. This is one of the worst things about this game as such. As into the box he goes. It's another set of softs, interestingly. And on goes a new front wing this time. Interesting to know what Jesper's strategy is at this point, because I don't think he's meant to be. I don't know if he would have wanted to be on the softs, because, well, they're definitely not going to end this Grand Prix unless he knows something we don't about safety cars. Because unless he knows it's going to be another safety car potentially. And at least this time around, Hazard can actually potentially take the fight to the drivers around him, because he has a full front wing. So we're not going to be waiting for a couple of drivers to form up, so we may be behind for the three laps of the safety car. Jeremy, of course, having started on the hards, will lead us away on the restart. How quickly will he drop through? We'll have to see, because those tyres being a little bit older now. They are hard tyres, but everyone behind them is on much fresher tyres, and once they get those up to temperature, that is going to be one of the most crucial things. Because Jeremy will be able to get those tyres up to temperature a little bit more quickly, so want the drivers well around him. If and when that happens. Just bear with me just a second, I've got some small issues with the stream. Hopefully that amends those issues. I can see like that terrible crackling you sometimes get with streams. I don't know why it does this. I'm glad that happened on the safety car, not while it was a big like 3 or 4 car battle going on, because you wouldn't be able to hear anything because of the terrible static audio. Safety car's in this lap, and everyone is indeed now in the queue. So let's see how Jeremy tackles this restart. He will now dictate the pace as they head down towards the Blanchimont section. And once again into the final sequence of the bus stop. The bus stop in 1920. Here we go for racing here once again resumed on lap number 8. The safety car coming out for Lockie crashing in the low-com section of the track. And as here we go, as Jeremy starts to slow down the pack, and he can choose to go when he decides to go. I think it's going to be out of the final corner, most likely. That it's going to be out because we're underway. And away we go. We are now indeed once again at full racing speed once again here in Belgium, as Jeremy leads us away in towards turn number 1. He's got Hazard for company all over him on fresh tyres. Castasser into P4. He's going to be able to get his way through past Tiger. They're going side by side. A little bit of contact with the side pods, as I think Castasser's got round the outside as they head up towards the Eau Rouge Radion complex. As Hazard's immediately putting the pressure on, as Castasser has picked up a penalty. So there could almost be 3 wide here for a second, as it's going to be move done for Hazard. Is Wombat going to follow through? I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move, as Castasser and Tiger go side by side. Tiger down the inside, going to have to be careful not to get his front wing stuck in there and get spun. And Castasser does indeed keep hold of the position, but he's fell back quite a bit. And now Jeremy is now going to be a target as Hazard's now pulling away. You can see the difference in the tyres as Wombat is making his way through the Norwegian, the leading V-Carb driver. His teammate down in P9, not been the ideal. He's not had an ideal weekend, to be honest. He had to come back through the field in the sprint. He's going to have to do exactly the same again in this full race distance. He has more laps to do it in, but he's going to have to do it the hard way once again. As Gulas, I think, is quite close to the rear. I think he will, well, at least he was to the rear of Wolfie. They're trying to get past for P6, obviously the one who's involved in the melee, and that 3 wide that saw him spinning in the initial laps of Carlson Andreas. He's got company behind him in the face of a very rapid Jesper trying to make his way back through the field, probably using a fair bit of the battery, not being able to save now, will he? And there's movement up ahead, you can see it just there. It's a side by side. Gulas gets into P6 as he go towards the bus stop chicane complex of the net of 19 and 20, as Hazard sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Jeremy is 2.4 behind and looking to be falling further and further back, as Jeremy, his strategy being completely sort of ruined by that safety car. He's not going to have the funnest of times. I mean, he's probably going to go, most likely at this point, probably go for the soft compound tyres if he's had his strategy in such a way done. Great camera angles ahead, it gives you an idea of how steep the hill actually is. As they go side by side, it's going to be an easy move round the outside for Wombat as he makes that move stick. Jeremy not able to stick with him on those older tyres, and it's the DRS pulls through for Wombat and he gets the move done and dusted, and Carlson Andreas has dropped to P10. And what I suspect is at least a couple of moves being made there for those guys, and I think it's a little bit further back to Castasser was a little bit wide. He's got himself, he's going to get back within range soon. 1.2 seconds the gap between the two of them. 1.5 of a second gap between himself and P4 and P5 at the moment. A little bit of gap battle going on further behind as well, as Jesper is going to be trying to get himself away from Jeremy, from Carlson, as those two in 8th, 9th, those 3 in 8th, 9th and 10th are also battling for position as well. Once again, all for points as such. And Tiger looking like the closest on track at the moment, as Castasser looks to be trying to get himself in the range of Jeremy. And once again, as I say, Jeremy being a little bit of the proverbial cork in the bottle here, as we head off lap 10 and on to lap number 11 here. Very long laps around here, but really, it's one of those Grand Prix. If you've got a lot of action, it tends to go very quickly. It does this for this particular Grand Prix. Although I see about the fact of the length of the Grand Prix, it may, as I see, even at full length, only at 44 laps, it's still probably equal to something like Singapore in terms of how long you would be going for laps around here, as Castasser tries to make his way through. But trying to get catch up now. The front two, both on the mediums. That's going to be interesting to see if they make it to the end, as now the Alpine is going to be under a lot of pressure here from the McLaren, who's on 8 lap younger tyres. 6 lap younger tyres rather, get the maths right. So that's going to go down the inside. It's going to be moved, done and dusted for him. Tiger's not going to be close enough to get anything done. Jesper into P7. As Wolfies, I think we've got to move around the outside. That's Jevy trying to go around the outside as well, being very opportunistic around the outside. It is the Aston Martin driver, makes his way through, does the Portuguese driver there, into P8 for him. Wolfie drops down to P9, and Jesper now is on the back of Gulas, who's got a little bit of a gap ahead of him, as Jesper probably going for a 2-stop now, I think, going for another set of softs, or he may well be going back onto a set of mediums, or if he sees it, maybe a chance if there's any kind of safety car as such. Further up meanwhile, well, the battle, we've got Tiger still battling away, trying to get past Jeremy. Tiger now with the full front wing on his car, not having to worry about the damage as such like he did in the sprint. Tiger still trying to see if he can get through his Jeremy, still just about keeping himself within the DRS though, so those hard tyres have not fully gone off yet, as there goes Jesper, so that's not ideal. I did see him lagging, I did see there was a little bit of issues there, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. That is going to be potentially that's Jesper's gut. There goes Jevy. Jevy's out of the Grand Prix. I'm not sure what's happened there. I think he's lost it through Blanchimont, or somewhere through Blanchimont, and we've got a safety car deployed once again. So we've had 2 safety cars in the space of just a few laps. What am I trying to do here? Oh yeah. Why it's doing that? That's why I'm trying to click through something a little bit too quickly. We'll see if I can get Jesper back in the lobby while I'm looking at it. See if I can find him real quick. I don't know if he's actually added me. No idea if he hasn't. Oh, there goes Jevy, of course. Nope, I cannot see him. I thought I had him added for some reason. I can't find him. Sorry about that, Jesper. I can't invite you back. They can get you back into the lobbies, onto mediums at least. That's not ideal if he can't get himself reconnected. Try once again, see if I can find him. No, I have him added. That's just very strange. I can't find him. One more look while we're under safety car as such. Sorry about that. Thought I could help you. We'll see that on the screen as well, actually. I was trying to find him on a couple of occasions, I couldn't find him. So we're now on to... Well, Jeremy's still going. At this point, I don't know, a couple... He could probably pit, actually. Safety cars might be in the next lap or so. Jeremy could probably go in the pits. He goes now. Yep, he's doing exactly what I said he was going to do. He's going on for mediums. He's not going to the box again. He's into the box. And he will fall down the field, but he will be on fresh tyres. removed from party again. Thank you for that. That just happens just every so often. Ah, right. So that's fun. He's actually not. He is here, but he's ghosted. All right, fun. Right, we're gonna be underway. All right. With that small problem sorted out. He is still here, he's just ghosted. Don't know why, the game is just being weird. Anyway, we're going to get ourselves underway racing as Kistasser will lead us away. And let's see how this all goes. So here we go once again for racing action here. And is here, Kistasser will lead us away. He's got a good restart there, a little bit of rear slide, but he has indeed got the better of Tiger, who's not been fully able to keep with him, as Hazard's into P4. He's on the softs now actually, so Hazard believing he'd take the softs to end the Grand Prix. Could be a major player here, as there goes, I think that's Gulas has lost it into the wall. Has he got damage there in that car? I think he's got away with it. No, I'm thinking he has. No, he hasn't. It's just, that was a massive moment there for Gulas there. Just the rear just decided just to completely disappear there. I'm not entirely sure exactly what happened there. As a little bit of a gap at the front of the field, Wombat trying to make his way through. This is down from about P3 at the moment as the battle, as Tiger's got a little bit of a gap ahead of him. 1 second is the gap between the two of them. Because they're trying to get the gap as big as possible. He needs to get 3 seconds because of that penalty that he is indeed carrying. Wombat currently in P4 at this moment in time. Hazard meanwhile trying to put the pressure on him for P3, on P2 rather, on the on Tiger in the kick service. The Williams versus the kick server. Trying to see if he can try and gain the ground. He needs to be careful how much he uses those soft compound tyres though, because those soft compound tyres will go off quicker than what the hard tyres will. That's Wombat who's been away off in the gravel trap, I do believe, and I believe he's away down to P8. I don't exactly know what's happened there. He's had a moment. I did see it in the background, and that's, as I say, it's not been an ideal day for the two Visa Cash App cars in this race here. And it's looking like it might be the break of the actual dominance they had from the 2 pre-season races, which would be quite unfortunate considering the actual pace they showed. As here comes Hazard round the outside. Is he going to try and make a move round the outside of La Source? Yes, he is. Is he going to have the grit to pull it off? I think he will round the outside. He's still going to have DRS as well, using the battery. And the kick server of Tiger has to back out of it. And Hazard now is going to try and line up his next target, and that's going to be Kistasser in the McLaren. On the quicker tyres is the Williams driver, trying to make his way through. As they've got 2 drivers in the pits. That's Wombat and Gulas in the pits. That's going to be for damage, I do suspect. And Kistasser is going to relinquish the lead to Hazard. Hazard looking very quick and showing what he could do in the sprint, but was cut short by the damage, obviously, with the slight contact with the rear of the Alpine of Jeremy earlier on. Jeremy meanwhile is up to P4. Great sort of recovery there from him to make his way back up after the pit stop in between the safety cars, of course, and taking advantage of that. And you can see him gaining ground as well. 1.2 seconds of gap between himself and Tiger. Is going to have to be looking in his mirrors, but he does know that everyone ahead of him has penalties, and everyone around him also has penalties. So he can take solace in the fact that if he stays close enough on those hard compound tyres, he's going to be in a great position to take advantage of any penalties that do apply at the end of the race. If he can stay within that 3-second range, which at the moment looks like he's staying within 3 seconds, everyone ahead of him at this moment after the safety car restart. But Jeremy now is going to be coming through and trying to make a move a little bit wide there. Got to be careful with the curves around here. Some of the curves will throw you off ever since the last patch, which has really shown that the curves are back to almost 23 levels of lethality in some places. And Tiger's still close. Carlson Andres picks him up himself a penalty. Quick look at the penalty situation as such. He's on 3 seconds. And Carlson Andres has managed to get up into P6. P5 rather, just ahead. You can see that is a Jesper in the background. He is actually racing, he's actually just ghosted. So I just got that information just from the Discord, just to make sure that he wasn't disconnected as such. But yeah, not been ideal for the two cash out cars. And meanwhile, Carlson Andres is going to have pressure from Wolf. He's trying to make a move in towards Eau Rouge Radion Complex, up the top of the hill and into the Camel Straight at turn 6. An easy move is made there by Wolfie to go straight back into P5, having been overtaken at the end of the bus chicane. That's the danger of the two different detection zones, is you've got to be careful that you don't end up screwing yourself over in the next detection zone. But it does look like Jesper he's struggling a little bit here and there, but that might be because, well, he is I would say that, but he is gaining here and there. But it will be if those cars do battle, and you can actually see them gaining ground on the cars in front. It's about 4 seconds between the two of them, and if this group and the group there, you can see the two cars battling in the back there. It'll be interesting to see if there actually is, as it looks like Carlson and Andres are trying to go side by side once again, but the Norwegian driver is not able to make his move stick, and has cost himself a fair bit of time there in trying to make that move, and that's now going to allow Jesper back almost within the range of DRS once again. That 1 second detection zone, which grants you the use of the letterbox opening. As Castasser now is falling behind, and now Tiger needs to get himself past here, obviously with the penalty. Maybe a little bit of DRS swapping could help them out massively here, as Castasser is 2.5 seconds with himself and Hazard. Hazard on the fresher soft compound tyres, Castasser on the hard compound tyres at 9 laps old, same as Tiger behind. Jeremy trying to make a move into towards turn number 1. He's going to go for a move into La Source, and thinks about it but decides not to go for it, but Tiger runs wide. That's going to be an easy invitation for Jeremy to go down the inside. Now are they going to want to go side by side into Eau Rouge Radion Complex at the top of the hill? I don't believe that is going to be the case, and Tiger doesn't need to decide to back out of it, but now Tiger's going to have a chance to go around the outside. The battery is going to be deployed here. You can see the DRS being enabled there, or DRS being opened. As he goes to the inside, Jeremy is going to have to he does not defend the inside, but he's going to have the better grip. Tiger tries to hold it around the inside, but his outside line better there for Jeremy, and he's into P3 at the moment, but he is carrying a penalty there, so he does need to get away as such, and is very close there, almost, and the rear diffuser was the Kick Sauber there in the Alpine. Well, the Kick Sauber with the Alpine, that was almost the moment there. We're on lap number 17 now, making our way towards the end, because Castasser now out of 3 second gap range, so now Tiger really needs to get himself ahead in this battle, because he's needing to make this work. All the cars ahead do have penalties, and it looks like Carlson Andreas is once again going down the inside. We'll be deciding just to let him go. Are there going to be any more battles that go with them, as Carlson is making moves in places that people are not expecting? It's Wolfie anyway. It's 4.7 seconds to get between the two of them, and it's a little bit of loss of time. This is the curb there briefly undoes the rear of the Haas ahead, but nothing in the end happens of it, as the battery is indeed being deployed by Wolf here, trying to make a move as he heads towards the Blanchimont complex. 17 and 18, and now into 19-20 for the bus stop. Are they going to be able to make? Is he going to be able to make a move down the inside? Not quite, as in the pursuit for what is currently P5 in this Grand Prix. And you see Jesper, as I say, is in the background. Meanwhile, Jeremy is still, and I think Stasser's made a mistake, and Wombat is out of the Grand Prix, as we have a safety car deployed, and that is one of the two Visa Cash App cars that's had a big issue, and Castasser's also had an issue as well. He's in the barriers at turn number 1. He's not got any damage though, he's got away with it, so he must have stopped it just beforehand. I think he's put power down too early, coming out of La Source, and he's almost went into the barriers. But not as bad. But so now we've only got the one Visa Cash App car in this Grand Prix, and we've seen quite a bit of dropout. Well, let's say 3 cars are now out of this Grand Prix, so now on lap 18. I don't think anyone else is going to pit unless it's the likes of Tiger, who may well opt to box for a new set of soft compound tyres and make this work. But I don't know if anyone behind him will box. It'll be interesting to see if anyone does, because those soft compound tyres, that's the worst thing there that could happen for Hazard, because Hazard was building a nice gap there. It was 4.2 seconds. That entire gap is going to be gone now, and he's going to have to rebuild it again. And Jeremy could be, find himself in a great position for getting himself onto the podium here if he does play his cards right. Tiger though, if he does manage, this could actually, however though, in actual thinking, this plays hugely in the hand of Tiger. who's now looking at potentially, if he was close enough to make a race win actually work out for himself. Wonder if there will be anyone who does decide indeed to go in, because you're going to have, we're on lap 18 and we need about 2-3 laps of safety cars, so the safety car is not going to be out for long. I do not think, as Gulas is into the pits for a new set of soft compound tyres. He's 35 seconds behind the pack at the moment, so it could be a little bit beforehand. We could have a 1 or 2 lap shootout in the Grand Prix in the end, and Hazard is opting not to box. Is Jeremy going to box? No, he's not. Is Tiger going to go in the box? No, Tiger's staying out as well. So he's playing the cards. Everyone is staying out because they know the safety car is not going to be out for a long period of time. That's Costasser, I think. Yes, Costasser has indeed gone into the box, nearly in the barriers into the pit lane entry. Whilst the McLaren driver, and he very much now he's going to go for a set of soft compound tyres, and we're going to have to wait for Gules, of course. He's only down at like the Blanchimont complex in Sector 3, as there's a new front wing going on to Costasser's car, so there must have been damage to the Greek driver's front wing, and away he's going to go in this Grand Prix, as it says, a little bit glitchy as such. He's there we go. He is indeed away. Costasser is indeed going to be out in P7, and I think we are going to see maybe only 2 laps of safety car action here, and here we go for the racing action that will unfold. And now Tiger, if he can remain in this train of cars, he is in one hell of a great position here to make this work. Everyone around him, apart from Jesper, is going to be carrying penalties. Jesper could also find himself in a great position as well, the only Visa Cash Up car left in this Grand Prix. And I do think he can make this work if he can actually keep those tyres within the range, because those soft compound tyres are going to be pushed to absolute limits when this safety car does indeed come in, because it's going to be no holes barred for these last few laps. It's effectively going to be a sprint, an even shorter sprint than we had in the sprint towards the end of the Grand Prix. And I do think we're going to see some elbows out movements as such. We'll have to see how that all plays out, as it will. Let's just see. Yeah, safety car will probably be in this lap or next lap, one of the two. We need at least 2 laps of racing, I do believe, so it's going to probably, if it doesn't come in this lap, it will come in on lap number 20, and we are going to see what the action unfolds with. We'll see a lot in the last few sentences. Just noticed that. Trying to think of something else to say rather than that, but yeah, that was the only word apparently was being coming to my mind. I don't know why. But yeah. Lap. Could be a late call, because we're going to see us catch the train. So let's have a look. And is it going to be in this lap? Nope, it is staying out one more lap. We are going to be going racing on lap number 20, so we're going to have a 2-lap sprint to the end. There's going to be no chance for anyone to get away unless there's a heavy amount of battling, and you do not want to be anywhere else right now, because these next two laps, you're going to need some popcorn for that, because it's all going to unfold very quickly within those last 2 laps here at Spa-Francorchamps here in Tier 2. So, let's see how everyone in chat has thoughts about how this race might end and who you think the race winner might be. Feel free to put that in the chat just now. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts as such. I do think this man right here might be in a good position. However, I do not want to put the commentator's curse in it, because that is a very powerful thing. I'm finding out that does happen. I mean, I already commentated curse, the fact that it was a Visa Cash Out curse have managed to dominate so far this season, right back at the beginning of the stream. So, you can probably blame me for that one. Yeah, we're going to be another lap around. Everyone is now indeed in the train, and we're going to be underway at the end of these 2 sectors racing for 2 laps to the end of this Grand Prix. Anyone could win this at the moment. Jesper or Gulias could be in a great position here and low down the field. Don't count them out either. Could put himself in a great position here to potentially pull off the win from 3rd place. on what is much lower tyres at the moment. He's going to have to watch out for that because he will have Carlson Andreas, who does like to make moves in interesting places that people don't expect. Watch out for him, and then obviously Wolfie as well. I think he's on 6 seconds of penalties, so he might not be fully. He's on 9 seconds actually, so he may well be in a little bit of trouble here as the safety car is in this lap. Hazard controls the pace now, and safety car will need to pull away. So it goes back into the pit lane. Lap number 20 onto 21. As here we go. Hazard not really doing any tyre warm up as of yet. I know what this man can do in terms of his pace. Waiting his moment. When does he go? I think he's going to go before the final corner. When does he catch out Jeremy, or does he try to catch out Jeremy? They are both on the same amount of penalties, 3 seconds apiece between the two of them. The tension is palpable. Let's go. As we're underway, Hazard has indeed opted to go before the final corner. Jeremy's gone with him. I don't think Tiger's had the same level of luck in terms of. Jeremy was a bit out of shape there, and he's fell out at 1 second already. A little bit of a mistake coming out of that final corner for Jeremy. That's going to put him under pressure, and that's always Hazard and chance away. And we're going to see probably potential movements of change. Tiger, now you're going to see not much battery left at the end of these drivers at the end of this. As Carlson Andreas tries to make his way through as Costasser's into P6 ahead of Jesper, making his way through, and there's Goulias as well, who's not too far behind Carlson. Andreas is trying to go side by side with Tiger. This is not ideal for him because Carlson is trying to have 3 seconds of penalties or 6 seconds of penalties himself. Around the inside he goes. Tiger knows that it's not worth a heavy amount of battling because he knows he's going to be in a great position come the end of this if he can pull this off. Wolfie Maymel is in this battle as well. It looks like Goulias and Jesper have swapped positions. What is P7 and P8? Stasser now is looking as a C to try and get past, and there's a little bit of a wide moment there from Tiger. He doesn't really need that, as we're going to be going on. We're halfway around the middle sector from what will be the second last time. Stasser with a great exit. He's made contact with the rear of Wolfie, and now goes Wolfie. I think he's managed to survive. No, he's out of the Grand Prix. I think unfortunately that is square on Costasser, unless that was some kind of lag that caused that, but that's not ideal there. I think he might be in a little bit of trouble for that one. I was on board, there was a little bit of contact. He got locked to the rear of the diffuser of the Mercedes, and the Mercedes went round, and he had no control at that point, and he's out of the Grand Prix as a result. Carlson Andreas up to P3, trying to make his way towards Jeremy, 1.4 the gap. Hazard meanwhile is pulling away, and he's out of 1 second. Can he? He's not going to get 3 seconds, I don't think, but will he be able to get enough? As Costasser's into P4, Tiger's down to P6. I think he's went to, because that Tiger's round. I'm not sure what's happened there. Tiger has indeed gone round. I think Stasser has indeed made contact with a second person. I'm not sure what's going on there. Stasser down the inside. That's a bit of a little bit of a clumsy move there from Costasser. He's already been maybe in a little bit of trouble there. He needs to be a little bit careful with those moves, and that's now meant that Goulias is in a great position if he can stay within range. With at least to get a podium here, because he's within 2.5 seconds, and Carlson Andreas is trying to make the move down the inside of Jeremy in this final lap. He's not got much in the way of opportunities. He wants to come back, and it's side by side they go. A little bit of contact as it's Jeremy with another penalty. He's on 6 seconds now for his troubles, and Carlson Andreas has got through into P2, and Goulias is now caught up massively because of that battle. Is Goulias going to have enough to potentially take race victory here? I don't think he's quite within that range. Costasser behind still after those couple of moments for himself. It's currently theirs. It's gone. All hell is broken loose in the end of this one, into this race, and Hazard has picked. Costasser now picks up another penalty as well, I do believe. He's on 6 seconds now, and Goulias is now within 1 second, a little bit further back as Jeremy is trying to maybe make his way back through, but he's on 6 seconds of penalties. Costasser, I think, he's gone a little bit wide. He's got wing damage on that car. He needs to be a little bit careful with that car, and I think that'll be his race done and dusted. It's all unfolded on this final lap. Carlson Andreas is now within 1.5 seconds of Hazard. If he didn't have a penalty, Jeremy's now into P3. Goulias is in P4. This could be a chance. He can see everyone in front of him. I think he is going to maybe take victory here if he's very careful. Could see a surprise victor here as Hazard is going to cross the line to win on track, but is it going to be enough? Carlson Andreas is going to come home in P2, Jeremy home in P3. Goulias just misses out. How much is he going to miss out by? He's missed out on victory by 1.5 tenths, less than that, and he's missed out by. That's all he's done. If he'd been a little bit quicker there, I think really say that, but those last 2 laps were absolutely chaotic. Let's just say that much. There was everything there. As Hazard picks up driver of the day, and I think that might well be an agreement thing there for Hazard, because Hazard started from very far back, and unlike in the sprint. Thanks very much, Tiger. As I say, there's going to be some controversial moments in there, I must say. Well done to Hazard, driver of the day from that. Gulas picking up driver of the day from the sprint, of course, as well. Gulas, that's a double podium. I think that's a podium for him, so great result there for him. And their drivers celebrating the podium with Carlson and Andreas finishing in P3. So no V-Carb in sight on the podium, so they'll have to come back at the end of the day. Well, Jesper actually picked the P3. So that's the points overall. From there is your race results. Hazard from P11 will finish P1 with Gulas and Carlson and Andreas completing the podium. Great drive from Carlson and Andreas as well. At the end of the day, Jesper will come home in P4, and considering everything that happened, not a bad comeback. Jeremy comes home in P5 with Tiger, I think, having with a spin in P6. What could have been for him? P7 for Kistasar. I think he lost his head very slightly at the end, and then Wolfie was still classified, but was unfortunately that little clip in the rear cost him any chance of finishing it in this Grand Prix. And then obviously the actual classified non-finishers were Wombat, Jerry, and Wolfie. Well, that was entertaining, controversial, great battles. That had pretty much everything in that run. So yeah. So yeah, we are just gonna have a quick old look where we are next, so we can. So next one is obviously we next race will take us to the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. Just a normal race weekend for that one. So we look forward to seeing everyone there. And with that said and done, thank you very much everyone for tuning in tonight, and we'll be back next week with Circuit of the Americas for our first visit to the United States.